What's up, nerds? Welcome back to the garage. We are in the lab and we are working on a couple of different vessels today. We've got the new EPDL Pro. This is the Old Town Sportsman EPDL Pro 120. We also have a couple of new motors. Look at them. Don't look at them yet. I'm going to talk about them later. And we've got a new inflatable, the NS 130. So a whole bunch of kayak inflatable motor content in this video. If you guys have ever considered any of these products, I hope this video will be helpful for you. That is the purpose that we are here for. We're going to walk them through. We're going to talk about what we like and what we don't like. We're going to talk price points. And then we're going to, in another video, go test these on the water. And of course, you're gonna have to stay tuned because this one right here is gonna get rigged up for, guess what? The Yak Offs, the Kayak Angler Mag Yak Off Championships. This is round 2, so there's already one, and our buddy Jake Suvak actually won that with his rigged out Vibe Shearwater. And Paul and I are thinking we can actually put up a fight the second round and maybe topple the champ. That would be the goal. We're gonna rig this sucker out, and we're gonna rig out the Wilderness Systems Tactical Pro 128 that you've seen us play around with a little bit on the channel. So these are gonna be basically blank slates. Ignore all the things on this. I'll talk about what I'm doing during this video, so just stay tuned on that. But we're gonna have to do a lot of rigging on this one and on the Wildy in order to make them competition viable. And guess what? We've only got like 2 or 3 weeks to do that, so we gotta hustle, baby. But let's get to the unboxing in this video first. Let's go. Y'all, there's a bunch of stuff in the garage right now that you gotta see. Check this out. What the heck is that? It's a kayak. I haven't even had time to unwrap this thing yet. It got dropped on my doorstep like 7 hours ago. You know, the bummer about this video is I have to unbox most of this stuff alone because Paul is on vacation in Hawaii. And you know what? I hope he has a good time. All right, I hope he has a good time. I hope he catches some cool fish. There's a lot of plastic on this thing, so let's get to cutting, shall we? Let's go. All right, without damaging, this is gonna be difficult, but I think we can do it. I think we just go for it. I think, you know, you just go, you ignore the battery sign, and you just cut. In all honesty, I don't know what color this kayak is because I didn't request a color. I just said, hey, if you got one and you wanna send it to me, that's great. I need to test this out. First layer of plastic off. Oh my gosh, how many freaking layers are on this thing? What are we doing? Layer numero dos. Good Lord. Going to layer 3. Gently now. Getting to the important stuff. Oh, it's blue. It's a blue guy. Whew. Here we go. It is the Old Town PDL Pro 120. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say PDL? I meant EPDL. Listen, I know what we've said about the Old Town EPDL in the past, and that's the reason we got this one. So they actually offered up the PDL or EPDL, and I wanted to be able to say that I use the EPDL for any period of time just to see if it's worth it or not. I know how the PDL system works. Used it a ton. Paul used it exclusively for like 2.5 years. This one we have not used exclusively for more than 20 minutes at iCast when it first dropped. So now we're gonna test it out on the new Pro hull design. So if you don't mind, give me a quick second. I'm gonna build this thing up. And because this is gonna take me a minute to get this all set up and finish this video, there's gonna be a wardrobe change. So see you when this stuff is done. Freaking classic kayak unboxing. It takes multiple days to do stuff like this. I've actually got the Old Town up on the kayak cart. I had to make an adjustment. I have to do this every freaking time I get a new kayak. First world problems. But I have to take these PVCs and adjust them to the width to match the hull. Basically, you have to align it with the shape of the hull underneath. Otherwise, it sits all cockeyed and weird and stuff. So I had it previously set up for Purple People Eater, new canoe. It actually fits really conveniently well on the bottom shelf, which I now have plywood on. So we are good to go down there. So Purple People Eater, you gonna live down there. And then much bigger kayak that doesn't fit down there is gonna have to be up top, and that is the PDL Pro. So I've done some staging on this thing and I wanna walk you guys through it. And you'll also notice that I have this other stuff laid out. So here's the Newport NS 130. I'm about to inflate it with a new electric pump that I got. I'll show you guys in a second. And then we're gonna put the Newport NT 600 on it. And we're going fishing with that sucker this weekend. So unfortunately, I got a lot more work to do on the EPDL before I've got it like fish ready the way that I want to have it ready, including ordering the wiring that I need for the bow mount motor. Currently can't run it the way that it is set up right now. But let's do this. Let's go ahead and we'll walk through the Old Town, and then I'll inflate the Newport, show you guys a new auto pump, and show you the NT600, and we'll wrap up this unboxing. Let's go. So bow to stern on the Old Town. First things first, when you put a bow mount on this, a couple of things. You're gonna have your little clip, your little lock here for your bow mount. It has to be on this side. And this is because of the way that they set up the bow mount plate and wiring. So they set up the wiring to go through here. One issue that I have with that is that I prefer to have a flush mount connector rather than like a perma connector where you have the cable go through here all the way to the back, plug into your battery. It makes it harder to remove this. You could have the plug or like the Anderson connector kind of hanging out. And when I say Anderson connector, I'm talking about this thing right here. You can have that sort of like sticking out of this if you wanted to, but then it's just gonna be dangling up here all the time. And personally, I hate that. I've done enough of these builds that I kind of know what my preferences are. So I want one of these flush mount Anderson connectors set up on here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna cut the shape of that receptacle, and then that's gonna go here so that I can just plug it in just like that. So this is getting replaced. I'll never use it otherwise, so I'm just gonna rip it out, cut the shape into the hull for the receptacle, and then boom, it's going there. We're done. There's a couple quirks about this kayak that you just have to be familiar with. I don't think that they're necessarily a good or a bad thing. They're just things that you have to know. For example, normally, and this is just a habit, it really doesn't matter. When I pull the Motor Guide XI3, I would have the head facing this way and the prop would be then that way. That's just how I've done it for years. Again, doesn't matter at all. It's completely irrelevant. But you have to flip it the other way because this big old pedal drive brain is gonna get in the way of the head there. So again, something you just change up, change your habits when you get into something like this. There's also no drop-in bin in here, and there really isn't a place to put your battery, as you can see down there. So what I'm thinking, and I think the battery might be too tall. Actually, I haven't tested this. Let's test this right now. So you got a couple options. You could put your big old battery up front here, and it pretty much won't go anywhere. I could like Velcro some foam right in front of it and then pinch it between there, and it wouldn't go anywhere. Most likely, I'm gonna have this live at the back of the boat though. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna order some 3D printed Naqua battery holders from Yak Hobby, and I'm gonna Velcro them right here. So that's probably just gonna be like the control center for my fish finder and all that other stuff that'll live up here. Which, by the way, I have a really cool mod that may or may not come in time for the Yak Off competition, but I'm kind of hoping it does, and I can't say anything else about it, but I'll show you guys when it does. Actually, there's 2 prototype mods that I might try on this thing that are they're not done yet, from 2 different companies, and I'm really excited about them. So you see back here, there's actually these brackets, and then you just take your cam strap and you run your battery right there. I'll probably end up doing it that way. So we'll leave this just for the Naquas. We got plenty of weight up front with the bow mount motor. Put a couple of batteries there, and then you got this big beast up here too. So the other thing I'm gonna have to figure out is where to mount the forward-facing sonar brain, the black box. So I'm gonna try to find a plate. Being that this is a newer kayak, I kind of doubt one really exists. So I'll just find one, whatever plate I can get a hold of. We'll get it rigged up. And then also the Yak power brain is also gonna be in there. Moving on back, we've got power. So I can actually take this cable right here and we connect it to our prop. So I just learned a valuable lesson. I should have read the instructions, but I was just trying to power this thing up. We do have power, it does operate, but I was trying to do that while the drive was lifted. So here's the thing, if you lift the drive, it turns off. Drop it back down, hold down the power button again, it turns on. And that is because there is actually the kill switch, and then there's a secondary safety mechanism, which is that red piece right there. So that is the kill switch attachment. So if the drive is up, you cannot operate it. That way you can't chop yourself up because the prop would be in your face. Makes sense, totally clear now. At first I was like, why am I not getting power? I just worked my butt off setting this dang thing up. No, we're good. It's operable. Here's the drive setup. You got a plug right there, plug right there. You actually have an option for a cable to come out here, and that is so that you could run your transducer up through this hole. There's actually like a nice hull mount transducer option on the bottom of this Old Town. I love when kayaks do that. Check this out if you can see it. Right up there. So it's flat against the hull, it's recessed. That way you're not running it into anything, like when I chopped off my transducer on my new Canoe Unlimited, because I don't like their hull mount at all. But hopefully that's something they work on in the future. So yeah, so you run your transducer cable up there, push it through there, coil it all up, bring it back out right there, plug it into your fish finder, you're good. So that is the plan so far with that, unless I get this new prototype that I'm actually really excited about. So it could be some other opportunities coming up. So this drive is an e-assist, meaning that when you pedal, it can make the pedaling easier. You just push the number up. So you see once we turn this sucker on and get past the warning, you've got 5 levels. So you can go all the way up to 5. And what will happen is as you pedal, which I can't do because the prop is hanging right down in between these two 2x4s, so it's not going to move. But when you're out on the water, you start pedaling, then this is going to kick in and it's going to make the pedaling a lot easier depending on what level you're on. So 1 would be hard, 5 would be easy, I think. I can't remember. And then also, obviously 5 is going to be the faster speed. You can hit this cruise control button. So we'll hit cruise, and then you have to pedal for a second until that cruise light stops flashing. Once it's solid, you can just stop pedaling. It'll engage the motor, and now you have a center mount motor on your kayak, which is pretty cool. And then all you have to do is pedal backwards or hit cruise again, and that will stop. So that's pretty neat. I'm excited to get a chance to use that. Now, we've talked about the EPDL system before. It is excruciatingly expensive. This is a $6,000 kayak. If you get the regular PDL Pro, it's only $34.99, I believe. So, you know, you can get your regular pedal drive, save yourself over $2,500, or you get the EPDL, you're spending up $2,500 so that you get a motor already on your kayak. The cool thing is it operates off of this very teeny tiny battery right here. This is it. So this is an Amped Outdoors 36 volt 20 amp hour battery. And I just shocked myself somehow. That was static discharge. Okay. You're not gonna believe this. But I just accidentally touched this metal piece to that tower and it melted. Okay, so don't touch metal to metal when you're static covered because plastic is static conductive. Anyways, the battery plugs in right down here. There's actually a little battery box in here, and you plug that in. And then you got the mini container that takes up absolutely no room. Close that up, lock it up. Now, the thing I found out about this is that that will not shut unless that battery is laying down sideways. So what you have to do is you have to take the battery, slide it in. There is actually a strap for it just so it doesn't bounce around. And then you plug it in to the receptacle right there. So again, just something to be aware of. Other than that, they have this plastic frame. Now, I don't love that it's plastic in the durability category, but I do love that it's plastic in that it keeps this whole frame super lightweight. It also feels pretty durable, pretty strong. We're gonna have to find out after multiple uses how well it holds up. Moving up to the front area here, a lot of people were asking about this flex. So there is a bit of flex, especially further up here. Now, the big thing for me about that is going to be, the consideration of should they have put foam in here? There's not a lot of room. This is actually like a really thin section of the hull. So it's like that thick total right around the drive. I don't know that it's going to be an issue for me. The same kind of flex can be found on your new canoes. It's like virtually the same. And I've never had an issue with the flex on the new canoe. So I'm going to go ahead out on a limb here and make the assumption that I'm not going to have an issue with this. Now, that said, we'll find out. I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to go out on the water and use the dang thing a whole bunch in the heat. We're heading into the dog days of summer here, moving towards fall, so there's still some hot days ahead. So I will be able to put that to the test. Now you can see looking around the kayak that I've pseudo staged this up. Now that is something that I like to do with any kayak because I want to get a feel for a layout. Now, Paul is a little flip side to this. So Paul would normally just go out with a kayak with nothing on it. I like to play around with like how I stage things up. So I might start with this configuration, go out on the water and be like, I hate this, I hate that, I hate that. And then I'll just move things around. So I got to start somewhere. I know I could take the kayak out with nothing on it and try to get a feel for it, but I like to move fast. So I'd rather just put stuff on it, see how it feels, and maneuver while I'm on the water, and then come back home and set everything up again and get happy with that. So for now, I'm gonna throw the track packs up on the front so I can stand up, reach ahead if I want to grab my baits. I'm gonna be good to go there. I'm gonna stage my net right here. It is unfortunate that there is no track in this area. I might add one later, maybe even like right there, or even just like a mighty mount would be nice from Yak Attack, because I would like to have a roto grip. I usually like to have one of these up in that area and it would hold the handle of the net. Not a big deal with a net like this beautiful net here from our friends over at Broken Twig Landing Nets. And that thing is pretty freaking awesome. It also floats. So not a big deal. If that falls overboard, I can just go grab it. You can see I got a bunch of stickers to put on. Not doing that yet. That'll be a later thing. We got something else new and awesome that I'm excited about. This is our Railblazer. Not Blazer, as I said on the podcast, so sorry. But this is the Railblazer forward-facing sonar pole. This thing is freaking cool. You got this adjustable handle up here. You can just move, so if I'm standing, you can still adjust that handle height. And then you can also, while on the water, move this thing up or down, depending on how your readings are looking. It's got clips that hold the cable into place, really like that. And you can use the standard mount that comes with your forward-facing sonar. In this case, we got the Garmin live scope here, and you can make easy adjustments with that. So I definitely prefer to use this versus before I was using the Fishing Specialties with a ram mount. You've seen it in some of our other builds. Definitely wasn't my favorite. We've always been looking for something new or better than that we could use. And I think this might be that for us. Also, it's a quick release, so you can just turn these tabs on both sides and you can take the whole unit off just like that. So that's kind of neat. It's not the easiest to pop back on, but it definitely ain't that hard. There you go, just like that. And then this adjusts in and out. Also, you can pull this right here and then you can swing this up just like that. And then you pop it back in. So it'll lock into place like that too. So if I'm on the move, I can just do this. That is pretty cool. The Fishing Specialties arm, you had to take it up and out and then put it inside of your kayak as you traveled spot to spot. It was super annoying. So this is gonna be much nicer. I like this a lot and it'll stay in place there. Over on this side, you can see that's where I'm thinking the fish finder is gonna go, because we have a little through hole wiring plate right there. So we can bring the wires out, go straight to the Garmin. And then the forward facing sonar unit, the little network cable will come out there as well and go up to my Garmin 93SV, which will get mounted up, which has been sadly just sitting in a box for a while. So she's wanting to get used. Also, I haven't even had a chance to unbox this. I mean, we've been on like multiple trips, been out of the state, out of the country for one of those trips. So I haven't been able to talk about a lot of the stuff landing at the doorstep. So now I'm cramming it all into one video. But we've got the aggressively average angler specific. Look, they put our logo on it. Used our colors even, the purple chartreuse from Kayak cushion. This cushion is sick. I like it a lot. And we're going to be able to easily strap it to the Old Town. So it's going to live on the Old Town permanently. And then I've got my Water Dog one down here. And I'm actually going to be running the Yak Attack cushion on my new canoe for the time being. We're going to run our Yak Power phone holder on one of these sides. I haven't really decided what I want to do with that. Still got to figure that out. But yeah, that right there could work. I'll just have to put a Yak Power flush plug right on the hull next to this cable, so it'll be in the wall right there, and we'll just plug that sucker in, so that'll be good. Got the rod stager set up. I do like them. A lot of people ask me, like, don't you feel like it gets in the way when you're landing fish? I never noticed that, even when I put it on the left side, which is where I typically land fish. So in my opinion, didn't matter, but that's just me. So I got that set up with one arm there and one arm on this part of the track. There is a lot of track on here, which is nice. I do like that. You got the forward-facing rod holder over here, and then two rod holders in the hull on the back here. I never ever use those. I will most likely get those deleted at some point. Get a delete plate from like Navarre. You can fit a 16x16 plus a battery back here. I most likely will not run my Newport off the back of this. The main reason is that these are offset power pole anchor mounts. But I've been in contact with a few companies who fabricate parts, and maybe there will be a plate that allows you to center mount something and you just ditch your rudder because you have a motor instead. So that would be interesting to me if we could pull something like that off. It would be annoying to remove the rudder and plug all that up, but I'm willing to do it in the name of science. So we might end up doing that. So there you go. That is the Old Town Sportsman EPDL Pro 120. Pretty excited to use this kayak. I think it's pretty slick. So I am going to be using this thing a whole bunch, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It should be a fun rig to run around with. Definitely some quirks to get used to. You can't put a captain's bridge on here. They've got stuff like this, which could be convenient, but I'd rather have a flush mount plate. You know, just a few things that will bother me, but otherwise, I mean, look at the way it's rigged out right now. You can find a setup that works for you with this for sure. So that's it for the Old Town. Let's move over to the inflatable stuff. So we got to inflate this Newport. Check this out. I've been looking for some good options for inflation, being that we have been working on so many inflatables lately, and I'm sick of using pumps like that. Granted, it doesn't take that much time, 7-10 minutes. It's just annoying, and I'd rather be working on other things. So I found this, we'll call it the Geisel, I don't know. But it's just a little auto pump option, right? So you got a deflate setting, you got an inflate setting. What makes this one unique and cool is you can actually run it off of a battery. So there's actually a battery that goes in right there. You can run it off of your car adapter as well. Yeah, that battery also operates as a USB charger, and it's got a flashlight. So that's pretty neat. Kind of a utility purpose to it, which I like. And it just plugs in right here. And then you just shove it on in there. And now you've got battery power for this thing. All right, so with this, all you do is you tighten this down on your inflate side. You take the correct adapter, which it has a butt ton of adapters. Also, this thing was, I believe, 80 bucks and on sale, which was kind of nice because a lot of those electric pumps are unfortunately pretty expensive, like $120 to $200. But this one seemed pretty nice. So we take this, we take our number, and yes, I know it looks weird. Latency causes problems. So we put it at an 8. And look at that, it just auto shuts off when it gets to the recommended PSI. So then I take it, and I pull this out. Now the center part is inflated, so we are good there. And that is pretty cool because you can just walk around and do some other stuff. So I could go rig up some rods, I could go mess with my tackle, all while this is doing its job for me. All right, check it out. Fully inflated in a matter of minutes. It only takes about 1 to 2 minutes per chamber with this thing right here, which is nice. So all on battery power, we got this fully inflated. So there's 4 chambers for the side tunes, all which take 4 PSI. And then there's 1 center chamber for your main mat in the middle, which takes 8 PSI. And then this sucker comes with a built-in transom plate, which is super heavy duty and rigid. And then there's a little drain plug here. So if you get any water in it, you just take that off, run all the water out, you're good. Look at these heavy duty tunes coming off the back. We've got handles right there and handles here. You've got the heavy bump guard all throughout, goes all the way around. Up front, you've got a tow strap ring, so we can pull that in if you're putting it on a trailer or something. And yeah, I mean, this thing it's pretty rigid up front here too. Like you can just run this into stuff. As you can see, I have on my first trip out. Yeah, you can be pretty dang rude to this thing and it'll hold up for you, which is cool. Also, this is like grip tape throughout, so if you want to step on the side or put your feet up here, easy peasy. And then you're probably looking at these and you're going, what the heck is this for? Well, that is for these plates. So you get this double track setup that we're gonna add to it right now. And at this point, I gotta call this out. This is one of the best roller bags for an inflatable I've ever seen. See how it's just wide open on the sides? You literally just lay this over the top of your rolled up inflatable, and then you clip in 2 buckles per side, 3 at the top, and it's got 3 heavy duty roller wheels off the bottom there and heavy reinforced grab handles as well. But it's also got Velcro in here designed to hold the plates. And then everything else, all the other accessories, I tossed into this little tiny bag here. But you take these and you put them up here, and I'm gonna install this for you in just a second. So let me get that installed real quick and then I'll show you the seat, because it's nuts. So thanks to my camera person, Emma, my daughter, who is running the camera right now, what we're gonna do is I wanted to show you guys how to install this thing. So when you put these side plates on, and they make another shorter version of this for the front, so you can actually put 2 sets of seats on this, which is cool. But you take these little plastic pieces, and it's just track mounted. So you just slide in your track piece, like a Yak Attack Mighty Bolt. Then you shove this thing into there. You line up your track pieces, push them through so they come through like that. And you take your little green cap here, and you just screw them on down. So you can do this at the ramp if you want to inflate at the ramp, or you can leave this like partially inflated, and then you can throw it in your truck and head on down wherever you want to go. We've got both tracks mounted, so we need to add our seat to it. Okay, then your seat goes on this, and it goes offset, so it's just 4 bolts. It's a swivel seat, and it's a full-on captain seat, so it's just a super cushy boat seat. So you lay it into these 2 brackets here. Totally gonna line up on just fine, don't worry about it. And you take your bolts, and they just go through the top like this. And there's your seat. And then the cool thing about it being offset like this is you can swivel it this way, and then you can drive with your tiller motor on that side. They do also make a bow mount plate that you can add to the front. We just don't have it right now. You good there, camera girl? Okay. Nice thing about having the low pro battery like this, so we have a 36 volt low pro, so you can easily slide it under the seat, but you can see how much space is here. You can even put a full size battery in there, which we will be, because the low pro 48 volt is not out yet, but I have the NT600, which takes a 48 volt battery. So we have a giganto battery I'll show you in a second. So this is our NT300, just to show you guys this motor. Pop it on here, and then like I said, it's a nice heavy duty plate for your tiller motors, and then all you do is take these and tighten it down. This is the NT300. I don't even think I've taken, haven't even taken the screen protector off yet. This has been on the water 1 time. It is a really nice electric tiller motor. This is a long shaft, so it's gonna be able to easily clear with the prop these tunes. You don't wanna chop your boat up, that would be sad. The handle, the extension actually moves up and down, which is kind of nice. So you can move it up and down, shove it in, you can go up. So you can like stand and drive this thing, which is cool. Forward and reverse controls on that. And then all we're gonna do is we're gonna put our safety kill switch on there. We're gonna hold down the power button. We got power, sweet. All right, so now we got power, and let's go. Motor works. Forward and reverse, so we go forward, straight to reverse. Actually, that was a lot faster than that. So pretty fast forward and reverse switch with it, which is cool. And of course, you can just lift the motor up like so, and it'll clip and it'll hold up just like that. So if I'm running aground, going through some shallow water, and the cool thing about it too is, again, take your kill switch out so you don't get yourself hurt, but you can have it propped up like this, and these handles are in a position far enough back that you could carry this over, if we had to portage over a dam or something like that. So really nice motor, I'm liking it a lot. And for the price on something like this, you got a John boat, you got an inflatable, as long as you have a transom mount, like I think that this is a really cool option, really nice electric motor for $11.99, $1,200. You can run any battery you want. You don't have to use a Newport battery. You do need a 36 volt, but you have a 36 volt, 40, 50 amp hour battery from like a nice budget company out there. You could look at like Power Queen, for example. You're gonna be able to get away with, a couple $100. You got a battery, you got the motor. So about $1,500 to $1,600 total. You could be running a nice transom mount motor like that. But now we gotta open the big boy. So that's it for the NT3. Let's crack open the NT6, shall we? Okay, so with the NT600 versus the NT3, you have to actually install the tiller handle, which takes a bolt that was a heckin' pain in the butt to install. I ended up just rubber mallet knocking it into there. It's that tight of a fitting, which is good. Like you want that to be a very strong fit. Now, there's a lot of really cool features about this thing, but just look at the freaking size of it. Look, this thing is huge. It's gigantic. even just like the prop section. I'm gonna lay it side by that 300 and you'll see what I mean. It's huge. So a couple cool features on this thing. You do have the tilt release, so you can actually like lift this thing up nice and easy. You can lock it into place where it's propped up out of the way like I showed you with the NT300. You also have a reverse lock. So if I slam that down, that will not lift now. So I can hit reverse as fast as I want and the motor's not gonna kick up. And then you can let it free kick in case you're on the river and you bump over some logs or something, it'll just clear it, which I've done plenty of times with my NK300. Up front, you'll notice everything is basically just bigger. All of the lockdown paddles are bigger. You've got this huge stem going through this thing that's insanely, we'll say girthy, sure. And then you have this tilt adjust right here. So you can pull this and you can lock this handle into different positions. You can even go down, and you can go up, and you can do what I've done here, which is twist it to the side, and that's unlocked. So now you can move it however you want, which is pretty cool. And then you also have the offset setting. So I can take this, and you can offset your handle locked to one side or the other, or center. And I'll probably just stick center for right now. Had to adjust my seat so I had room for the tiller right there, which is good because it's also gonna balance me out. This motor right here is about 56 pounds. And then you add into that the battery that we're gonna have to use for this, which is right here. Look at this thing. This is a Losagai Life PO4. So 48 volt, 100 amp hours. So it'll say 51.2 volt, 100 amp hour, right? It's gigantic and it weighs 90 pounds. Woof. So right off the bat, my 700 pound capacity of this vessel is taken down by 50 plus 90. We'll just call it 150 pounds. So 150 pounds down from where I'm at 700. Now I have 550 pounds to clear, plus tackle, plus me, another 230 pounds. We're gonna be fine. It's you're just gonna run light with your gear, especially if you're running two like full grown like adult males in this thing. You might have just a little bit of an issue, but otherwise you're gonna be good. We're gonna go fast. And look at this display. Hang on. Bam, there we go. First of all, full color display on this, not just your basic LCD. Okay, after a little configuration, we got this thing dialed in. So as you can see here, you got your state of charge, how much battery charge is left. I just charged this big beastie the other day, so we should have 100%. We do. Power output in watts. We've got your battery voltage, but if you cycle the menu by pressing down, you can also see distance left. How many more miles can you rock this thing for? Time left in hours and minutes. And that's about it there. There's your mile per hour. There's your throttle percentage, but there's a lot more to this layout. Check this out. If you double click menu, so you double click that, now you can go to the driver menu. So this allows you to set time zone, your speed units, kilometers or miles per hour, your max output. Now that's kind of cool because you can set a limitation to power output on this. Let's say your teenager wants to go for a run and you don't want them to be able to go full out just ripping around the lake on this thing. You can just cut that max power output down and they can't go as fast. So that is cool. They've also got the sensitivity of the throttle. So you can run that up for bigger vessels, down for smaller, lighter vessels like the one I have right here. We're not gonna wanna be at like a, I think it goes to a 9. Not gonna wanna do that. SOC low protect, when your battery's under 20%, it reduces the power output your motor can do to protect both the motor and the battery. Then you go to the battery, it auto selects the type of battery you're running, but if you see an error here, you can adjust it. You got the rated voltage on your battery, so we got a 48 volt. Capacity in amp hours, this one's saying 55, so that is incorrect. So we're gonna go down here, you hit power to enter into that, and we're gonna up that to, boom. So we got 48 volt, 100 amp hour, done. It's the only battery I have for this, so that's what we're going with. And then we're gonna cycle through to exit out of the menu. Boom. So that's pretty cool. Look at this though. There's also a throttle calibration, so you can just hit start on that, and then you can adjust the throttle percent to make sure that it's where you want it to be. Definitely the most beefy display of any Newport I've used, like that. I also noticed this. So here's our power plug-in. Over here, there's actually a controller plug-in. So I don't know if that's like for diagnostics, or if you can take and then plug that into one of these throttle controllers as well. And you could just like lock this in and maybe run that way. But I don't know, I'm learning stuff every day. It's not in the instructions that I have found. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. Also, your boy read the instructions, let's go. All right, you guys, so got them laid out next to each other. It is somewhat comical. Well, look at this. NT6 versus NT3. Makes the NT3 look like a freaking baby. Whoa, little tiny motor, little baby guy. Oh my gosh, it's such a beast. The fact that it just has this hose coming out the side, which is just covering up your battery cables and whatever the heck this thing is, I haven't figured out yet. What a beast of a motor. I'm so excited for this. And something I haven't even pointed out yet is that Newport supplies a cavitation plate. So with higher power output motors, something that can happen is you end up getting air getting pushed down around your propeller. Right? I actually learned about this back when we fished with Sup Customs, David and Austin, and the Live Water Sports vessels that they use. Similar idea, you got this pontoon kind of shape, so you got two tunes there, and then your floor of your vessel is actually lifted up a little bit off the water line. So air comes through, and there's an air pocket created there, which is great for stability, but not great for high power output motors. So that air gets pushed down around the prop and creates drag. Drag means that you have a slower motor than it's capable of being. So somebody genius back in the day with outboard motors created the cavitation plate, and this prevents that air bubble from getting kicked down around the prop and allows you to get your full potential speed out of this. Now, this has to be applied by you. It is not applied at the factory, so you have to make sure that you put this in the right position. I am certain that I didn't put it in the right spot. So I know I'm bringing an Allen wrench with me out on the water, bringing a screwdriver, bringing a whole toolkit. Whenever I use something new, I bring the whole toolkit with me just in case something's not dialed in, and I would recommend you do the same. So I'm gonna have that out there with me. We're gonna put it to the test, and you guys stay tuned because one of our next videos is gonna be me ripping around on the NS130 with the NT600. We going fishing. We gotta run light. I'm not running a crate. What I will do is I'm going to bring the Evolution largemouth bag with my tackle boxes. It's going to live up front. I'm going to have probably 2 or 3 rods laying up front. I might even bring a bungee just to strap them down because I don't know how fast this thing is going to go, and I hope that I don't flip. But we'll do something to protect the rods. NT600 off the back, and then the battery is going to go right under the seat here. So I'm pushing it as far forward as I can, so I get most of my weight. It's going to be like me, battery, motor. Here, back, this is the midpoint of the vessel, and we'll try to find our balance point, and then I'm going to put whatever weight I can up here. Probably have a Rugged Road mini cooler, the new 25 that you'll see in another unboxing. Up here with some food, some Sammies, maybe some drinkies, and then of course tackle, rods, all that stuff. It's gonna be a blast. I'm really excited about it. So yeah, this has been sort of a different unboxing. I don't know that we do a lot of like kayak unboxings. Usually you just see the part of the video where we're rigging them out, but I figured it would be fun since we had 2 brand new vessels, 2 brand new motors, and a whole bunch of accessories that we wanted to share with you guys. So EPDL is here, ready to be rigged. The NS130, pretty much rigged. The only thing different I'm gonna do is I've already talked to the Newport team. They're sending us the short tracks that go up here, and we're gonna rig out a second seat. And then Paul and I are gonna take this out with the NT600 big boy, and we're gonna go as far as we can on the Grand River. So that should be a lot of fun. Stay tuned for that video coming soon. As always, this is just a first look at these 2 vessels. And yes, to be clear, these companies did send them to us. However, we are clear with every single company that we will give you our honest, unbiased review of these products, no matter what. So I've already pointed out some of the things I dislike about the EPDL. There are some things I dislike about the NS130, and there are some things that were challenging to put together with the NT300, the NT600. We will continue to share that stuff with you because we want to be a resource for you guys. If that sounds appealing to you, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you smash the like on this video. Maybe share it with some folks who are considering a new inflatable and a new Old Town EPDL or PDL. Just, you know, looking at the options out there. Even if it's out of your price range, we totally get it. I know I'm going to get the comment, just buy a boat. Listen, I don't want one. I really enjoy these types of vessels. This is what I'm here for. I have nowhere to put a full-size boat. I do not use trailers for these, so I'm plenty happy being able to just stack my kayaks in the corner of my garage and be able to deflate this, throw it in a bag, and I actually take it down to my basement every single trip. I just get it out of the way. This is what I like to do. You do what you like to do. That's what it's all about. Let's just stay positive and have fun in this community. So again, to be clear, the EPDL is $6,000. It's for sure out of most people's price range. But if you have the moolah and you just want a kayak with a motor already on it, you don't even need to add that one. This is a motor. Maybe it's a good fit for you. And it comes with the battery, so you don't have to buy an additional battery. The NS130, on the other hand, base price is $17.99. The kit that we have is $23.99. And then motors, I'm not sure on the NT600, but by the time I put this video out, by the time this video comes out, I will know the price. So here's the price of that. And then $11.99 for the NT300. Now again, you can run your own batteries. You saw we have an Amazon battery. I think it was like $600 or $700. That's a 48 volt, 100 amp battery. They're huge. They're heavy. They're actually made for golf carts. Cool thing about that, actually, I'm gonna take that battery and I'm gonna convert my in-laws golf cart. My mother and father-in-law, who are amazing people, they live, pretty much 7 or 8 months out of the year in Florida. The rest of the time they live in Michigan. They come up here, they stay at a campground, they have a golf cart, but it's running off of just crappy lead acid batteries. And if you ever seen a layout under the seat of a golf cart, it's nasty up in there. They get corroded really easily. So one of my future projects I might share here on the channel, if you guys are interested, is we're gonna go ahead and take that, get those lead acid batteries out of there. We're gonna take this lithium battery and we're gonna pop that sucker in there and make them a nice clean machine that should actually run more efficiently and faster. So I'm pretty stoked for that for them as well. So that's all I got for you guys in this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was helpful if you're trying to make purchasing decisions on vessels like this. That's what we're here for. I gotta go hit the water. I gotta prep. I gotta go fish, man. What the heck? I'm sick of being in the garage. I wanna go do the thing that these are for. So I'm gonna go do that and I will catch you guys on the next video. Okay, bye. Get in my truck.